Today we're making tofu, but not just any tofu, crispy air-fried tofu, which is honestly the best way to eat it in my opinion. And I'm gonna be showing you 4 different flavor varieties for your air-fried tofu that are pretty easy to throw together and super tasty. Some people think tofu is totally gross and has no flavor, but I am here today to prove all of those people wrong. First of all, because I absolutely love tofu, mainly because it is a blank canvas, meaning it's going to take on whatever flavor that you give it, and you can put it into whatever cuisine you want, which is exactly what we're going to do today. The first thing that you want to do with your tofu is press it. This is the first and most important step for your tofu recipes. We're gonna do this for every single recipe that I show you today, but I'm just gonna show you how to do it this one time so that we don't have to do it over and over and over again. I do recommend to get an organic tofu. I would use firm or extra firm, and then you're going to slice the package open, drain out all of the water, grab a cutting board, lay down some paper towels or a kitchen towel, and then cut your tofu in half. Lay the tofu on top of the towel, and then take the towel, place it on top of the tofu. And then you're gonna grab some heavy items from your kitchen and just place it on top. Let it press out for about 10 to 20 minutes or so. That's all it really needs. So today we're gonna start off with a classic flavor, barbecue style tofu. This crispy barbecue tofu gets its flavor from the barbecue sauce, which is what we're going to marinate it in, and it's also great because it doubles as a dipping sauce for all the leftover sauce that you're going to have. To a medium-sized bowl, you're going to add half a cup of tomato paste, half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce, then 1 tablespoon of coconut aminos, 2 tablespoons of molasses, 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup, and this is where you're gonna get kind of your like sweet barbecue flavor from the maple syrup and the molasses, 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder, 3 teaspoons of smoked paprika, half a tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and half a tablespoon of Dijon mustard or spicy brown mustard, whatever you have on hand. Once you have all of your ingredients into a bowl, you're going to whisk it together until it is smooth. If your sauce seems too thick for your liking, you can go ahead and add a little bit more water or a little bit more balsamic vinegar, whatever you need to make the sauce to your consistency. So once your barbecue sauce is finished, you're going to grab onto your pressed tofu, and for the sake of time today, I'm only using half a block, but this recipe is for an entire block, so you will have enough of your sauce to make your entire block of tofu. You're going to slice it into little cubes, whatever size that you want. Then you're gonna place them in a plastic bag or glass container, and then you're going to pour the sauce on top of it, just enough to cover it, and then let it marinate in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. The longer it sits, the better it gets. So once your barbecue tofu has finished marinating in the fridge for however long you want it to, you're gonna take it out and then place the tofu into a bowl. Sprinkle it with about a tablespoon or so of cornstarch. This is what's gonna make it super crispy. Then you're gonna place it in your air fryer basket that is lined with parchment paper. Put it in the air fryer at 400 for about 10 to 15 minutes, checking it halfway through and shaking it up so that all sides get nice and crispy. All right, so the barbecue tofu is finished. As you can see, they are nice and crisp, and you can always serve them with your leftover barbecue sauce that you have, or whatever your favorite dipping sauce is. Next up, we have spicy Thai peanut, and I say that in quotations because I'm not using peanut butter, I'm using sun butter, you'll see. I love this recipe too because the marinade doubles as a dipping sauce just like the barbecue tofu did as well. So in a bowl, you will add 1 to 2 tablespoons of sun butter. You could really use any nut butter here, almond butter, cashew butter, peanut butter if you want. You're gonna add 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos, juice from half a lime to give it a little more freshness, 1 teaspoon of sriracha, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of ginger powder. And then once you have all the ingredients in a bowl, you're going to whisk them all together until nice and smooth. Once your marinade is finished, you're gonna take your tofu and chop it into small cubes, or really whatever size cubes you want, and then place it into a plastic bag or glass dish, and then pour the marinade on top, shake it all together, make sure it's nice and coated, and then stick it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to overnight. I would recommend doing it overnight. So once your spicy peanut tofu has marinated in the fridge for however long you want, you're just going to take it out of the fridge, place it in a bowl, add about a tablespoon of cornstarch, and then mix it all together until it's nice and coated. The cornstarch is what's gonna make it nice and crispy. You could sub in potato starch or just omit it altogether. Then you're gonna place it into your air fryer basket that is lined with parchment paper, spread it out evenly, and then place it in the air fryer at 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, checking it at about 10 minutes, shaking it so that all of the pieces get nice and crisp. The spicy Thai peanut tofu is done. It is nice and golden brown, super crisp. I like to serve it with your favorite kind of rice. I like basmati rice. You could serve it with your favorite vegetables as well. Next, we have herb crusted tofu, which does not have a marinade, but you do have to make the breadcrumb mixture full of herbs and spices. But I love this dish because it's a little more fancy with very little effort. Starting with the breadcrumb mixture, you will add to a food processor a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. I like to use a blend of Love Grown Power O's and Simple Mills crackers, 1 teaspoon of fresh chopped sage, 1/2 teaspoon of basil. I'm using dried basil today. 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. Again, I'm using dried oregano today. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper to taste. Once all of your ingredients are in the food processor, just blend them all together until nice and uniform. For this specific recipe with the herb crusted, I like to keep my tofu in long strips rather than cubes, but if you're really just feeling like you want the cubes, then go for it. Then you're going to need 1/2 cup of aquafaba. This stuff is kind of optional. I just like using it because it helps the breadcrumb mixture stick to the tofu a little bit better. If you don't have any of that, I would just do this process without it completely. I haven't tried subbing it for anything, but I'm pretty sure it would work without anything because the tofu will still be a little bit moist. Once you have your tofu, your aquafaba, and your breadcrumb mixture all prepped and ready to go, you're going to take the tofu, place it into the aquafaba, then dip that into the breadcrumb mixture until it is fully coated. Then you're going to place it in your air fryer basket. I like to line mine with parchment paper, spread them out evenly, put them in the air fryer on 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, so after 10 minutes, you want to check your tofu and see how crispy it is, and then you can put it back in the air fryer, or if it's to your liking, then go ahead and take it out. But I went ahead and did mine for about 5 more minutes, so mine went for a full 15 minutes, and now they look super crispy and delicious. Moving right along to our everything bagel tofu. So this is by far the easiest recipes of all 4 of the ones that I'm showing you today. But this one is just great for when you're busy, on the go, and you just need to pop something in the air fryer and take it with you. I truly do not ever measure this recipe whenever I make it. I just eyeball it and measure with my heart. But these are just approximate measures that I'm giving you today. You're gonna take your pressed tofu, chop it into cubes, place those cubes in a medium-sized bowl, and then you're gonna add in a couple of tablespoons of your choice of soy sauce, coconut aminos, or apple cider vinegar, or just completely omit that. Then sprinkle in some cornstarch, or just completely omit that. And then sprinkle in your everything bagel seasoning. Toss it all together until fully coated, and then place it in your air fryer basket that is lined with parchment paper. Spread out evenly. You're gonna put the air fryer at 400 for about 10 to 15 minutes, shaking it halfway through to make sure all sides get nice and crispy. All right, so our everything bagel tofu is done. It's nice and golden and crispy. I did mine for about 10 minutes, shook it, and then put it in for another 3 minutes, and it was perfect. This recipe is so great to just throw onto your salads, or just add to a meal, or even just eat as a snack. All right, I have them lined up, and I am ready to taste them and let you know how they are. So first up is the barbecue tofu. It's really good. Spicy Thai peanut. So far, this one's my favorite. All right, herb crusted. Nice crisp coating on the outside, perfect on the inside. Everything bagel. Perfect, so simple and so good. If I had to choose a favorite, I really think it will be the spicy Thai. So if you like this crispy air fryer tofu recipe, you're definitely gonna wanna check out this video right here, which is 4 of my favorite vegan air fryer recipes. So go ahead and give it a click, and I'll see you in the next video.